into our time together for these few minutes that we have before we return to the busyness of the day, the evening, just all the things that seem to take up our time and consume our thoughts and take up our energy. But for these few minutes, we're going to pull that energy back. We're going to bring it all back here internally. And we're going to find the power of the present moment. And so as we all get comfortable, just sit up in a spot or lay down in a way that feels good for you. And once you kind of settle into that place, just gently close your eyes. Remember, the comfort of your physical body has to come first, so that then you can bring some comfort and some rest to your mind and to your heart and your spirit. And it's in that path that you will find the power of the present moment. So let's just begin to breathe deeply together. Just take a long, slow, deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. And another long, slow, deep breath in. And let it go. And again, a long, slow, deep breath in. And let it go. And as you continue to breathe just like that, notice how quickly all the busy, all the to-dos, all the stimulus of the day, it takes a backseat to this moment here and now. And all it takes is for us to pause and breathe. And so before we head into our time together and focus on the topics for today's session, I want you just to realize what an incredible, powerful thing your breath is. It is able to take a tired body, a distracted mind, an anxious spirit, and bring calm almost immediately. It doesn't make all the stuff go away, but it certainly eases the load that those things have on our mind, our body, and our spirit. And so as you just continue to settle where you are, breathing in slowly and breathing out completely, I want to focus our time together on the concept of interrupting. That as things come into our life, things that we expect and things that we don't expect, just like what you've just done with your breath, I want you to realize the power that you have to interrupt the things that need to be interrupted. It's not a disruption, it's a choice to do or to feel or to think or to act differently. And so as life is busy and as things come, we tend to assign a value to them. This is a good thing, this is a bad thing, this is a harmful thing and a healthy thing, a negative thing and a positive thing. But rather, couldn't it just be that as things come into our space, things come into our energy, into our thoughts, our mind, if we get a sense that they are not there to serve our greater purpose, rather than assigning them as bad or negative, how about we just interrupt? We interrupt the thought or the feeling or the situation. We breathe and we choose something different. We shift our perspective. And just like you had the power with those very quick 3 breaths that we did together, you have the power to interrupt anything that comes across your path that does not serve you. It is a way to change your perspective and to keep yourself really focused on what is important for you personally. And so I want to share with you just this really quick little story that I think illustrates this so well about perspective and how in the blink of an eye, things can change, and how we see them needs to be our choice, not the choice of the circumstances that are happening. The story is about a family who had one son, only one, and the family was incredibly poor. And so this son was extremely precious to them. And all they could think about was that someday as he grew older, he could work and have the financial means to support his parents. They were counting on that. As they grew older, they were counting on him being the one to support them. So one day he was on the horse working, and the horse threw him, and he was crippled. And immediately the family thought, this is the end of our life. They let the circumstance determine how they felt and how they saw not only the present moment, but the future moments to follow. But then 2 weeks later, the army came into the village, and they took away, without notice, all of the healthy, strong young men to fight in the war. But this young man wasn't taken. He was allowed to stay behind and take care of his family. And all of a sudden, these parents just paused and realized they had assigned a meaning to what had happened. And then they let it control how they felt about the rest of their lives. But in that moment, they realized the circumstance was just that. It was just a circumstance. And how they responded to it would determine what they did from here on out. So they had to pause, they had to interrupt their thoughts and realize how truly blessed they were that their son was not being taken to war as so many others were. And so each of us, we have a story. It may not be as extreme as that one. For some of us, maybe it's more. But we all have something that has happened in our lives. Maybe the very recent past, maybe a while ago, that we've assigned something to it. And then we've let that assignment of it being bad or traumatic, or whatever words we've used, we've let that assignment change the way we think about life and how we see the present moment and how we see our future. But I would tell you that in the same way you had the power to take 3 quick breaths and change your current situation of how you felt, you also have the power within you to interrupt those patterns in your mind about whatever that situation was for you. Yes, it was still traumatic, just like the son being crippled. But it doesn't determine where you go from here. That determination comes from you. And so every day we are going to be confronted with things that we have expected, and so many things that we did not. And immediately we're going to want to assign judgment to it. It's good or it's bad. It's positive or it's negative. It's what I want or what I don't want. But rather, let's look at the situation for what it is. And then make a choice on where do we go from here. So let's just sit together. I know that's a really big, heavy topic, but it's so real in each of our lives. What's your son being thrown from the horse story that's caused you to think certain things about yourself or about your life or about your capacity, about your potential? And how can you interrupt right here in this moment and say no more? It happened. The situation happened. But I am alive in this present moment. I am breathing and I have a choice. And I want to choose something different. Not that it was good or bad. It was my situation. And now I will decide where I go from here. How I look at the sunrise. How I honor the life that I've been given. And how I value the breath that is within me. So let's just, each of us just sit with whatever our story is and see in our mind what is revealed about how we can interrupt those patterns of thought that don't serve us anymore. let that sound of the singing bowl be a reset for each of us. A new vibrational energy coming around us, coming through us, coming from within us. I read something today in my quiet study time that said that intellectual knowledge may teach us a lot of things and give us a lot of facts, but it doesn't raise our consciousness in this life. The only way to do that is through meditation. So we show up for meditation and we're not trying to raise our knowledge or increase what we know. We are trying to bring capacity to our consciousness. And to do that, we got to get rid of the stuff that doesn't belong there. The negative patterns of thoughts, the way that we've seen ourselves, the way that we've let the events of our past cripple us and define us. Rather, let's just embrace our stories. Let's not assign good or bad. Let's realize, in the same way we have the power to use our breath to calm our body, we also have the power to think differently, to interrupt the thoughts that do not serve us any longer, and to choose a path that does. That is not only my wish for you, but it is my wish and my commitment for me as well. Namaste.